This video is about my Leica SL2S, and I wanted to have a story time about it. This story, first of all, complete and utter disaster. So complete and utter disaster happened for only the second time in my 11 year career. Hi, my name's Noel, and this is a new format that I'm trying. We are in my apartment office, and I have a bone-chilling story to tell you. And at the end of it, it's gonna have something that I'm having problems with. If any of you guys have any solutions or creative problem solving that you can help me with, stay tuned, because that part is crucial. So anyway, my name's Noel, and I shoot commercial work as well as residential work, which by residential work I mean I work with families and couples for weddings, engagements, baptisms, all stuff like that, stuff that's not corporate. So I had shot this lovely couple. I shot their wedding a couple years ago, and they have since then grown to start a family, and they were coming into town to celebrate and have their 1-year-old daughter's baptism. So they hit me up and booked the date. I go and check out the church, and it's an awesome, cute little church. San Antonio is very well known for having historic Spanish missions that are still up, and they are historic sites, and this baptism happened to be at one of them. So I thought that was very cool. Cut to telling you about the gear I use. I took my Leica SL2S, and I took my 24-90, and that's my main just like event, like rock steady capture, no hiccups. Not trying to get too artsy, not trying to get too creative, just get the job done equipment. That's my kit. So I've got my SL2S, I've got 24-90 on it. The day before, I was shooting all day at one of our local hospitals for a ceremony they were doing, and I've got 2 batteries for my SL2S, and the one I was using, I didn't exhaust it, so it was about at half battery, and I was charging the other one. So I've got one in the hole and then one on deck, and then I was thinking to myself, I will just leave that battery in there, and then I will just swap the batteries when I get to the church. So I don't think anything of it. So the next day comes, and I get to the church, and I get there pretty early, so I'm there with my film camera. I have about half a roll in my M6, and I was taking the opportunity to just take some pictures while I'm there of the missions, because I had never gone out of my way to go, and it was very pretty. So I just took a few shots, waiting around, and when I'm going to, and here's where part 1 of the disaster happens, is I find out when the ceremony is about to start or it's not a ceremony, when the baptism is about to start, I go to change my battery, and if you own a Leica SL2S, or if you've used one, or if you know how they work, they've got a tab on it to release the battery because it's flush with the bottom of the camera. There's no door. There's a release. There's a eject tab. You're supposed to flick that, and it pops out, and you're supposed to be able to take the battery out that way. Well, as you can see, my battery tab just fell off, and I still have it. It fell off in my bag, so I'm thankful for that, because I still have it. But there was no way for me to change the battery, and I couldn't charge my camera because I didn't have like a battery bank. I didn't plan for that, so maybe that's like strike 1 on my fault. But that happened, and I'm at half battery, and I'm just like, oh crap, how am I gonna get through this? But I'm a professional, and I try not to stress anybody out, but I just kind of calmly ask, hey, does anybody have a charger? Hey, Father, maybe we can you got like 2 minutes, that maybe we can start like 2 minutes late. Let me let me calm myself back down. But I just, we're all good. You know what? I can do it. Worst things have happened. Let's go. Half battery. I got this. And we're going, and we're shooting. We're having the baptism. Everything's fine. And I'm like, yeah, I got this. You know what? I've still got plenty of juice left, and the baptism ends, and we're doing the family rotations with all the combinations at the end. And I'm like, I'm in the clear because all I got left are just some pictures outside. We're good. We're good. No need to panic. Disaster. Complete and utter disaster. This is the disaster part. A really quirky thing. I've got to change this battery, so bear with me. Okay, thank you for holding. This was not meant to be a product placement, I'm sorry. So, my SL2S does this really quirky thing that I know is not healthy, but I've always seemed to find a way around it. But I'm going to ask you guys, because this is the part I need help with. I use Sony Tough cards for my memory cards, the yellow ones. And every so often, when I'm taking pictures, I'll have taken the photo and then I'll want to review it. So I press play and it freezes. And it won't unfreeze because I guess it's still cycling or whatever. Sometimes it's not even like writing anymore because you can tell by that red LED tab. Like I have thought that it's cycled through already, and I'll press play and it'll freeze. Like the screen will just freeze. But what's interesting though is that like the exposure meter, the little hash marks at the bottom, like everything's frozen. I can't unfreeze it. Like I can't half press the shutter for it to like kick back in or something like that. Historically, the thing that I've had to do is pop the battery out as like a hard reset. And that's the part, like I know that's not healthy or really the way to combat that, but like I know that's not the solution, but it does that. And the reason why I'm kind of like confused or just like wondering for help, because if you use the lower, like a SanDisk 170 write speed, you don't really get all the features. You don't get like the high burst rate and some of the higher end video features. So it's like I put those in there because they're really great. They're really great memory cards. But then if I use the SanDisks, like the cheaper ones, then I don't get all of my camera. So it's kind of like this paradox. But anyway, it froze. My camera froze. And I didn't know what to do because I'm like, oh my God. In the house of God. I couldn't take the battery out because the tab wasn't there. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And we're not done yet. We're not done taking the family photos at the altar. And it's like, luckily in my head, I'm like, I know the camera's not writing anymore. Like, it didn't lose any images, but like, it's frozen. And I didn't have a backup. All I had was my M6. And I had like half a roll. I was like on shot 28 out of 36. And luckily, like, I bought myself time. I shot some images on film, some crucial ones that I didn't have on my memory card. I ended up having to expedite that roll of film to get the deliverables back to the family. And it was just one of those super awkward moments where you're trying to stay calm, and it's like I've got my film camera, and you can already immediately tell the style of shooting is different because with the digital camera, you're kind of like, you can kind of hear like the button pops and you can see it, and you can tell I'm taking multiple photos. But like with the film camera, you've got to really like line it up and then make sure it's exposed properly. Luckily I had taken a picture inside the church. I dialed it in already, so like thankfully I did that. You could just tell where I'm like, okay, ready, and then just a little clink, like the little film clink. And there's no like bulb to let them know that like, oh yeah, the picture took. There's only I'm like trying to wind it real slow so that they hear it. And it's just like kind of awkward because it's like, okay, I got it. And they're like, oh, all right. And it just was like the most uncomfortable thing ever. Mind you, my camera's still frozen. And I've got like 8 shots left on this film roll. But it was just like, this has never happened to me. I've gone all this time making sure that this doesn't happen to me by owning multiple pieces of gear, having multiple cameras, a backup, extra memory cards, this, that, the other, and I didn't know what to do. I got caught with my pants down. And it was just like, I have never like admitted defeat, but it got to a really awkward point where I was at a film. We were still needing to do a couple family shots, and I didn't know what to do. So I was honest, and I was like, hey guys, like my camera is like, it froze, and the way I fix it, I can't fix it because I let them know what's going on. And then I'm like, I've been shooting with my film camera, but I'm out of film, I'm out of shots. And this is the part where I'm just like, okay, this is like the do or die moment. Camera's frozen. It's on like a red dot screen where like it's not going anywhere. Like it's not frozen on the last like thing that the viewfinder had picked up, but now it's just like on a red screen. It's on like just the logo. And I'm like, okay, there's a little hole here, and I'm just like, does anybody have something sharp? Because my thought, my logic is, the camera's already broken. I'm gonna have to send it off for repair anyway. Let me just stick something in there, and I hope I like trigger something. And I know at this point, it's not about making sure I don't mess the camera up anymore. It's about making sure this family has these moments. She has a bobby pin, so I just jam it in there, and I'm fishing around, and it like is half paining me, but I'm just like, this has got to work because I don't know what to do, and we're not done yet. We're not done yet taking photos, and so I'm like mashing around, and it trips it. It shuts off, and then I turn it back on, and it works. It freaking works, and I'm just like, dear Lord, thank you. You must have been looking over me in there, but I'm just like, now I'm like, I don't even want to press play. I don't even want to press playback because I'm afraid it might freeze again. So I have to now shoot, I have to now finish, not knowing if I corrupted anything, if there's any corrupt images, if it formatted, who knows? And those are the scary things that as a photographer, you hope you never have to go through, but sometimes it just happens, and you gotta roll with it. And you just gotta, for one, act confident. Who knows? Maybe the card did format, or what if it would have? I don't know. I don't like to think that way. That's crazy, because I would just stress myself out even more. But it's like, oh wow. So we finished the shoot. Like, we go outside, we take the big old family photo in front of the church, and it's like, it's just a relief. I finish, a relief, and then when I'm done, I press play for them to look back at the photos, and like, they were great. They loved them. It was awesome. And then I was done, and that's how I got through it. It was incredibly stressful, but it was like crazy to have to go through that, because I feel like you buy certain equipment to not have to go through stressful situations like that, but it's like, tech is tech, and sometimes tech don't tech, and that was one of those times. So I was just thankful that I got through it all. I said a little prayer before I left on Holy Land, and it was just one of those things that was like, this was insane. This was so crazy to go through, but sometimes it just happens, and that's what happened to me. So that's my story, and I hope that me making this video, I want to just share that experience for one, because that's like I said, it's never happened to me before. Happened to me one other time, but like on a wedding, and it was my second shooter where their memory card corrupted, and luckily it was like when we first started, so just swapped the memory cards, reshot those shots, and we were good. But like, this is the first time that it was just like, on one front I couldn't change the battery, I was at half juice, and then my camera froze. So luckily I had my film camera to just buy me some time, and luckily on those shots on the film that I had those family pictures that were in between, because they weren't on the digital camera, and everybody was leaving, and so it's like, that's one of those things where you can't redo them. Like, people left, so if you didn't get it, then you would have been screwed. So anyway, if you have any solutions to that problem with the camera freezing and popping the battery out, recommend, or like, just let me know if you guys have had any problems like that with the SL2S. Anyway, let me know if you have any info on any of that. So thanks for listening to me. Thanks for listening to my story. Like, subscribe. If I haven't scared you off, like and subscribe. I kind of enjoyed telling you this story. Maybe there's other stories I can tell, but for now, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I'll see you later.